What is going on, YouTube? How are you doing today? AnkleBullyChris here, and in today's video, as you can see, we're going to be comparing 2K18 to 2K20. Now, I know it might sound crazy, but in my opinion, 2K20 was right there with 2K18. I feel like they're about the same level. I don't want to waste no time. Look, we're going to get right into it. I've split it up into multiple parts so you can kind of understand what's going on in each part. So without further ado, let's just get right into the first part of the video. So the first part of the video that I want to go over is the rep system. Now look, this one isn't going to be very long because obviously 2K20 wins on this one for sure. 2K18 was the first year of the 99 system, and I would say for the most part everyone hated it. Literally the top rep is basically a MYCAREER grinder. That's how it was for 2K18 and 2K19, and nobody really messed with that because every other year before, the first top rep, which was Orlando in the year before with actual rep, this man grinded days and days and days. He literally grinded until December, 3 months plus, and people didn't like the fact that you would have to go to career to get your quote unquote rep up, even though it was really just overall. I agree as well. So obviously, without a doubt, 2K20 wins, and this one's really not even close, like I said. Because the 99 system, the road to 99 system, whatever they call it, horrible. Probably one of the worst ideas they've ever implemented in the game. I'm going to be completely honest. So the first part of the video, I got to give it to 2K20 with the rep system. I like the rep this year. It was different. There was new reps. So like I said, I can't complain. Part 1 goes to 2K20. If you want to keep a point system, 2K20 is up 1-0 right now. Now the second part of this video is going to be about the neighborhood. Now look, 2K20 neighborhood, copy and paste from the game before. Keep that in mind. So not only is the neighborhood this year a big box, a big square, a big UPS box, whatever you want to call it, it was a copy and paste from last year. See, the 2K19 park, when we first got it, I wasn't really mad about it. It wasn't the best looking park, but I wasn't mad about it because it was a new park and it wasn't the neighborhood from the year before. However, if we are talking about 2K20, the game where it got copied and pasted from the year before, I have to give it to 2K18. It's not even a question, because going into 2K18, they had this brand new park with streets like it was GTA on a smaller scale. They put all this effort into the new park in 2K18, and even though they didn't execute it the best, they had all of that effort and it actually looked pretty nice. It was just hard to get around. Whenever we spawned in at the AI statue, if there could have been a little walkway or alleyway into park right there, there would have been absolutely no issues. But we didn't, so it was hard to get around, and that's what made 2K18 park so frowned upon by the community, because it was hard to get around. It's just as simple as that. But like I said, compared to 2K20, it's better by far. This is another quick section. I want to get this one out the way before we get into the more controversial topics, but this one I gotta give to 2K18, no question. So right now 2K18 is tied up with 2K20 in my opinion, but these next few parts are definitely going to be the best parts, so keep watching for those parts. But let's just get right into it. Alright, so this is the part of the video where things might get a little tricky for some of y'all. I feel like the first two parts, after I explain them, I feel like it would be pretty easy to understand, and most of y'all would probably agree with me. However, this is where it gets a little I guess you could, like I said, a little tricky, because this is going to be about the build system. Now look, 2K20 had a pretty cool build system, I'm going to be honest. It was basically double archetypes, but the idea of pie charts honestly wasn't that bad of an idea. However, 2K18 was the introduction of dual archetypes, right? And we're not going to be comparing these, I guess you could say, in a way to where which one's better. I mean, I am comparing them as to which one's better, but like, think about getting that dual archetype system in 2K18 versus the pie charts now. like I said, pie charts are basically double archetypes or dual archetypes, whatever you want to call them, just with different random names. So think about 2K18 the first time getting dual archetypes, and then 2K20 basically the third. Now, not only that, but 2K20, honest to God, 2K20 was the first 2K where I would look at a build on the stat sheet, just on paper, look at a build and say, wow, that build is OP. And I'm talking about builds like the two-way slashing playmaker. On paper, that is the most OP build in the game. Now, however, if you made a pure rim last year in 2K19 and you were able to shoot corners, greening corners consistently, that doesn't necessarily make your build OP. That's more based on the gameplay and how any build is able to shoot. But this game, the two-way slashing playmaker, on paper, if you just look at the stats without any gameplay, had like a high 63 to low mid 70s. I'd say low 70s, maybe not mid. But it had the good three-pointer, contact dunks, Hall of Fame defense, Hall of Fame playmaking. So in this section, I gotta be honest, when it comes to balance, I gotta give it to 2K18. Not only that, but the badge spread in 2K18 honestly wasn't that bad. If we're talking about badges and builds, the only thing that I can say bad about 2K18 was glue hands, free throw ace, and quick reflexes. I hated those badges. I didn't really see the use of them. But regardless, I think 2K18 had the better build system. I'm going to be honest. It was more balanced. Like I said, better badge spreads. And not only that, but 2K20 does not have any badge restrictions. I think that is a bad idea. You could have pure locks, gold corner, gold catch and shoot with 6 badges. You get the point. This section has to go to 2K18, I mean. So, without further ado, I'm putting 2K18 up. Let's just get right into the next section. Alright, this section is where things take a turn. So, this section, as you can see, is about the gameplay. But not only that, I'm going to be combining this section with events. Now, obviously, 2K20 wins by a mile when it comes to events. Honestly, I remember in 2K18 we had ruffles, maybe high rollers a few times. But other than that, I honestly don't even remember any other rep events. Maybe I'm tripping, but 2K20, regardless, I know how many events 2K20 had. They had a bunch. Even though some were broken, some couldn't load correctly, the idea of the events and when they did work were incredible. I gotta be honest. Even though most were from 2K19 rebranded, it's still a bunch of events. So I gotta give that part to 2K20, no doubt. And when it comes to gameplay, I think I'm gonna have to give this part to 2K20 as well. 2K20 was a pretty bad game, I'm gonna be honest. That's just my opinion. The behind the back, the bump animations, whenever people would reach and they would cancel your dribble animation, stuff like that really aggravated me and really made me want to delete the game, if I'm being completely honest. The behind the back, the move that they patched back in January, which I gotta give credit for them patching it. At least it wasn't here all year. But that move literally made me delete the game because nobody could guard it. And I would literally have to watch my guard get cooked by it. And it's not even like he was playing bad defense. It was just hard, so hard to guard that it made me delete the game because I was on center at the beginning of the year and I would just have to watch him get cooked. And 2K18 though, let's talk about 2K18. The heavily contested greens, the snatchback animations, the blow-bys, and honestly, I only had a few hundred park games on both of these games, 18 and 20. The only reason I have so many on 20 is because of quarantine and stuff. Before I had like 400 or 500. Same with 2K18. But gameplay wise, like I said, 2K20 wins this one. 2K20 had some bad stuff, don't get me wrong. It was horrible. You had 53 pointers shooting corner greens consistently. But overall, 2K18 was bad. I mean, no, I'm sorry. 2K18 was the worst. 2K20 was pretty bad. It just wasn't as bad as 2K18. So I got to give this part to 2K20. Big props to 2K20. They've been upgrading since 18. Not much, just a little bit. But like I said, this wraps up this section. This goes to 2K20. And and let's get right into the next section. Alright, so this final section is going to be a little bit of like an extra section. So basically, I've went over the main topics, I feel like, of the game. However, I think this is, like I said, this is an extra section. So one of the things that I want to talk about is 2K20's release. Now, if you had this game the first 1 or 2 weeks, you know what I'm about to talk about. When this game dropped, there were so many bugs in this game, it was insane. If something was supposed to move left, it was gonna move right. If it was supposed to go this way, it was gonna go that way. Everything was going wrong. Rep bars were freezing, progress bars were freezing, the badge bars were freezing, everything was freezing. It was like anything was barely moving. So this is one of the things that I feel like kind of pulls 20 down, but it was only the first 2 weeks out of, 50, 52 weeks, because I don't even want to count the last few weeks, because it's been so boring the last few weeks. But for 2K20, this is one of those extra things that I definitely wanted to include. And the other thing was about 2K18, and this is the replayability, I guess you could say. That game, for me, didn't have much replayability. However, like I said, over quarantine, I've played maybe 600 or 700 games in the past 5-6 months, which is a pretty good amount. Not the most, but it's a pretty good amount. So even though I did quit before, I must say I was able to entertain myself for the most part, except maybe the last 3-4 weeks on this game, all through quarantine. So I got to give 2K20 that part, because 2K18 I honestly could not play for more than maybe 2 hours at a time. The only time I really played it a lot was when we played Pro-Am, and that was like in June. And honestly, like I said, 2K18 had no replayability. So if it wasn't for Fortnite or for me playing Madden 18, I honestly don't know what I would have done that year. I might have just quit gaming, because it would have been so bad playing 2K18 all year, and that's the only game you play. So that's just a little extra section that I wanted to go over for each game. But before I go, I want to make sure to mention the t-shirt creator. Now this is something that I have to give to 2K18. Obviously it was taken out in 19, but it was in 20 too. Don't get me wrong, it was in 20. But you had to be in the Elite too? Bro, I barely got shirtless. Are you serious? I was barely able to take off my shirt and put on neck tattoos. Like, what are you talking about? I never even touched a backpack, unless you want to count the big top one. But that's something that I have to give to 2K18, because you could literally vote on which shirts went into the store, and I'm pretty sure they were free. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure they were free, but people were making these Louis Vuitton, Gucci shirts with chains, and that's when the introduction to backpacks honestly sparked in the mind of 2K players, because people would Photoshop the backpacks onto the back of your shirt and have the straps and everything, and look at it now. Backpacks are actually in the game now because of the t-shirt creator and the ideas that people had. So that is one of those things that I feel like has to get talked about, along with the 1v1 courts and the dunk contest and the 3-point contest. It might seem useless, but those things, like when you wanted to 1v1 a friend real quick or a group of friends, I think the 1v1s were to like 5 or timed. So like that was something that was actually really cool that was implemented just that year. So those little things I gotta give to 2K18. Now, overall, honestly, it's close, but I think I have to give it to 2K20. I'm gonna be honest, it's very close. But remembering how 2K18 was, I think the main thing that brings it down is the gameplay. If you give 2K18 better gameplay, it quite possibly could have been one of the better 2Ks. The only problem then would have been moving around. But with better gameplay, it would have been awesome. But 2K20, I gotta put it over 2K18 overall. Even though there were a lot of 2K18 features that I liked over 2K20, I gotta give it to 2K18, because without all those features, the thing that matters is gameplay, and 2K20 was slightly better. So, let me know what you think in the comments. If you made it to this far in this video, I really appreciate it. I hope you were able to understand the points that I was trying to make, with each section. But that basically wraps up the video. Like I said, leave a comment, like, subscribe if you're new. AnkleBullyChris, I'm out. This is my final 2K20 video. So I will see y'all in the next video in 2K21. I'm out.